current version of Atletico Madrid might just be the scariest we have seen ever. Yes, Cholo Simeone's boys are the real deal in 2024-25 after pulling the big bucks last summer, but are they good enough to sneak in undisturbed and win their second La Liga title in 4 years? Let's find out. First of all, when we're talking about Atletico's form, we can't help but mention the highlight game of their season so far. To beat Barcelona in the dying moments in their own backyard is a huge statement. Now that some time has passed, we can reflect on one of La Liga's biggest encounters in 2024-25. Heading into the game, Atletico were on an 11-match winning streak in all competitions, including 6 in the league, while Barca were in a shaky state, having won just once in their previous 6 La Liga games. After a bombastic August, September and October, they really scared the whole of Europe. Despite this huge gap in form, almost every reputable analyst gave Barcelona the edge in this fixture, mainly because they were playing at home. And indeed, every one of them was absolutely right. Barca were the team that dominated 95% of the game and led the stats in every department except goals. 19 shots to 5 for the Catalans, 7 big chances created to 2, 63 to 37% possession, 2.72 expected goals to 0.62, but the most important stat of all, the one that matters most, 2 goals scored for Madrid to 1. Indeed, that was prime Cholo Simeone ball right there in its purest form. But aside from that game, there's one thing that shouldn't go unnoticed when comparing Real Madrid, Barcelona and Atletico Madrid. The two Spanish giants rely heavily on individuals. Los Blancos, we saw what happened when one of Vinny, Mbappe or Jude Bellingham haven't been in fine form. Draws to Mallorca, Las Palmas, Athletic Club, the disaster against Barcelona. All those disappointments were caused partly because of over-reliance on main stars and also the weak defence. These are the two main reasons for Real Madrid's slow start of the season. Then we saw absolutely the same thing with Barcelona. They were flying in the first 15 games of the season, but when Lamine Yamal got injured, everything fell apart. Loss to Sociedad, draw with Celta Vigo, defeat to Las Palmas and the aforementioned failure against Atletico. In all those games, the 17-year-old didn't start, and against Las Palmas he played around 45 minutes, when even his magic couldn't save Barcelona from a monumental, even historic disaster. And then there is Atletico Madrid. Los Colchoneros are playing as a unit, just as Simeone has always demanded, and the game in Barcelona was the perfect example. They defended like prime Atletico Madrid of 2014, waited for their chance, and finally pulled the trigger with this superb finish from Alexander Sørloth, who, by the way, is another instrumental topic, but we'll come back to that in a later video. The important thing is that Atletico played as a team, and that could really be the difference between them and Barcelona and Real Madrid, who are, just like those two, annoying neighbours who always tend to compare who is better and more capable. But in the end, it is always Atletico who get the ovation in such cases, just like in 2014 and 2021. And as we all focus on Atletico Madrid's attacking prowess this season, let's pay tribute to one of their top players in 2024-25, Jan Oblak. I don't know about you, but has there been a more consistent goalkeeper in the last 10 years than Jan Oblak? Because I genuinely argue about that. Neuer had his dips and injuries, Courtois was pretty bad in the first season at Real Madrid if you remember, but Oblak always stays solid and still seems to be underrated, even in 2025. The Slovenian made some fantastic saves against Barcelona, finishing the game with 6 in total. And so, with this victory, Atletico Madrid have climbed to the top of the league. At the start of 2025, Real took the top spot after a dramatic win over Valencia, but Atletico quickly returned the favour, beating Osasuna at home, and they are now on a 14-game unbeaten streak, the best in their entire history. Most importantly though, Atletico Madrid are not only in the best form in La Liga, they've been the best team in Europe over the past 2 months. I found an interesting article on the subject of their streak written on the 20th of December, just before the derby against Barcelona. The leading lines read, Atletico Madrid have won 11 games in a row, 6 of them in La Liga, their best run since the autumn of 2012. Well, you can now see more similar articles as Atletico never ever had such a commanding run. By the way, if you're enjoying this so far, feel free to subscribe to the channel so you never miss anything. So, having said all that, the big question remains, what makes Atletico Madrid so effective in 2024-25? Well, to answer that, we have to go all the way back to last season. Back then, there were rumours that Cholo Simeone would leave the Metropolitano if the club didn't allocate the necessary funds to challenge for the title. But here is the twist. Atletico president Enrique Cerezo actually listened to Simeone's pleas, as there was even a point when the fans were seriously concerned that their iconic coach might call it a day after 13 years in charge. And to be fair, Simeone had every reason to be frustrated with the club's handling of transfers. Since winning the league title in 2021, Atletico have spent only €175 million on new players, a shockingly low figure for a team with such big ambitions. The lack of investment was reflected in their league results. In 2022, they finished third, a massive 15 points behind Real Madrid. Then, in 2023, they were third again, 11 points behind Barcelona. And last season, oh boy, they hit rock bottom, finishing fourth, a staggering 19 points behind Real Madrid. Yep, 2024 was officially one of the toughest seasons for Atletico under Simeone. But you know what? It only added fuel to Cholo's argument, convincing the management to finally back their man. And then came the 2024 summer transfer window. Remember the miserable €175 million Atletico had spent over the last 3 seasons combined? Well, in 2024 alone, they blew that total out of the water, splashing out a whopping €185 million. Yep, Los Colchoranos went all out, bringing in 4 big names to shake things up. 2 Premier League stars, Man City's Julian Alvarez and Chelsea's Conor Gallagher, and 2 solid players who know their way around La Liga. Real Sociedad's Robin Lenormand and Villarreal's Alexander Sørloth. And guess what? That €185 million doesn't even include the add-ons that could push Atletico's spending over the €200 million mark. For example, Julian Alvarez's contract includes a €20 million bonus if he hits a certain number of goals and wins La Liga. And judging by the way things are going, Atleti would be happy to write that check to Manchester City if the World Cup winner with Argentina continues like that. Sure, some of the new signings needed time to settle in, but those early concerns are now a distant memory. Alvarez is on fire. He and Griezmann are Atletico's top scorers. Lenormand is solid at the back and Gallagher is starting to make waves. But the headline grabber of the season? No, it's not Griezmann, nor is it Alvarez, because Alexander Sørloth is the go-to number 9 in this Atletico Madrid team right now. The €32 million signing from Villarreal has been nothing short of a revelation. So far, Sørloth has 8 goals and 2 assists, all in the league, earning Atletico 12 points in La Liga. Yep, you heard that right, he's not just a striker, he's the striker for Simeone, overshadowing even big names like Alvarez and Griezmann. With 8 league goals to his name, Sørloth is Atletico's top scorer, and when you add in his 2 assists, he's the most prolific Norwegian striker in the last 2 months. Sorry, Haaland fans, but your man has been off the pace lately with just 5 Premier League goals in the last 8 weeks. Not only that, but Sørloth's recent form has really established him as one of the top Scandinavian strikers, earning him a prestigious place alongside Sweden's Victor Gyökeres and the protagonist of our last video, Alexander Isak. But who's the mastermind behind Atletico's push for La Liga glory again? There's no doubt about it, it's Diego Simeone. For all that he's achieved, Simeone has always had his doubters. Think about it, he's won 2 La Liga titles, he's taken Atletico to 2 Champions League finals, something most clubs can only dream of. And yet, Cholo Simeone doesn't get the universal respect he undoubtedly deserves. Despite the football public's opinion, there's something that no one will ever be able to take away from him. Yes, it's obvious, he's one of the best coaches in the world, famed for his defensive philosophy, recently even becoming the highest paid manager on the planet. But I have another thing in mind. No one can take away the fact that he is the main man behind one of the most exciting transitions in modern football. At the time of his arrival in December 2011, Atletico Madrid were a club with rich history, but at that time they were a shadow of their former selves, stuck in mid-table mediocrity for nearly a decade after their La Liga return in 2002. Then came Diego Simeone, and in just a few months, he turned a faltering team into Europa League champions. In the next years, he won La Liga title and qualified the team to Champions League final 2 years after his arrival. Then, in his 4th year in charge, he played the most prestigious club match again in 2016. And after a little period of silence from Cholo in the next 5 seasons, Atletico again stepped on the very top of La Liga in 2021. The good news is that, fast forward to 2025, and they have a golden chance to do it once again. So, what is your opinion? Do you think they can cope with the firepower of Real Madrid and Barcelona? Let us know down below. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe or check out our episode on Jude Bellingham. I'll catch you there.